entry. I will take questions, I think, at the end of the slideshow. So let me explain everything first, and then we can have questions and answers afterwards. Now, I'm sure you came across this in some of the previous learning units already, the accounting cycle. But I want to take you back to this again, because this is what accounting is all about. The accounting cycle details the formal accounting process. The steps discussed in this learning unit are as follows. Now, every transaction we do on a daily basis. Remember, you might go to an ATM, withdraw some money, get a slip. You go to a petrol station, you get petrol, you pay for it. They give you a receipt, a petrol slip. You go to a KFC or a Nando's, whatever, you purchase chicken, you get a slip. That is your source document. And in a business environment, we need to keep those source documents as evidence that there was a transaction. We also need those source documents if we want to claim VAT. So not only are these accounting cycle transactions applicable to a business, it also relates to what you experience on a daily basis out there. Now, if we have all these source documents in a business, and I mean, they can be large amounts if you purchase inventory from a customer, or if you buy furniture or equipment like computers, etc. So there are various types of source documents, but all those are evidence that we need to then take into consideration and account for in the books of first entry. And that is what we are looking at today, books of first entry. After the books of first entry, we'll then go to the ledger accounts, and I think that will be discussed next week. From the ledger accounts, we can draw up a trial balance to see what the debits and credits are, if everything balances, and we can determine the profit or the loss. And then from there, we get the final financial statements, which is drawn up by auditors, depending on the situation or the type of company, etc. But the trial balance helps us to draft the financial statements. So it's important that you understand the whole process from there must be let me go back. There must be a transaction. You must go to a Checkers and buy some groceries. Or let's say you buy tea, coffee, milk, etc. for your business. There's a transaction. You get a slip at the cash register. That's your source document. You go to the bookkeeper in the business and said, I bought some tea and coffee and whatever. There's a slip that you need to record in the books to show it as an expense. And from that book of first entries, it goes into ledger accounts. From the ledger accounts, we do the trial balance. And from the trial balance, we then draft the financial statements. And the financial statements are the final product that either the shareholders want to look at, the directors, the managers, the investors, etc., etc. So all these source documents are accumulated into transactions from ledger to trial balance to get to the financial statements state where a business can see what is going on, whether they are having profits or losses. Now, I have been in the accounting arena for many, many years, but still this picture is always in my mind when I think about accounting. The scale. What you put on this side must be the same as on that side. Otherwise, it won't be equal or in line. So always keep a scale in the back of your mind when you do accounting. Assets, if we put assets on that side, must be equal to equity and liabilities on that side. Otherwise, the scale will go skew. The same with debits and credits. If we have 1,000 Rand debits, we must also have 1,000 Rand credits. The T account is like a scale. And we will talk about this next week when we refer to the ledger. But a T account is really like, can you see? It's like a T. The debit side and the credit side. So it must balance. It must be in line with each other so that the scale is not skewed. And for me, that is extremely important to always keep that in mind. If you do your, I think in your first or your previous assignment, you had, for instance, transactions like you bought assets for cash. Then you have to see where does this fit in on my scale. You can't have a plus here and a minus on that side. Then it won't balance. It will be skewed. It must be a plus here and a plus there, or a minus here and a minus there, or a plus and a minus, which then will give you the same as nothing on that side. So it's always keep this in mind when you do accounting. You might think it's just a stupid concept that I'm referring to. But for me, still, after all these years of doing bookkeeping and accounting, this is my very picture that I see in my head. And I also always think about a bank account because it's easy to understand if we refer to a bank account as your first entry. I will come back to this a bit later, but again, if I'm not sure about should something go on the debit or the credit side, I start thinking about my bank account. If money comes into the business for whatever reason, it must come on the debit side, the plus side of the bank account. So if I receive income from investment, debit, and credit, for instance, my interest received. If somebody deposits capital, the bank will it will increase. So I debit my bank account and I have to credit my equity account or capital, whatever the description is. The same on the other side. Think about cash. If I pay telephone, the bank gets less. It has to go on the credit side. And my telephone account will be debited on the debit side. So that effect will always give you this balance. One goes on the credit, one goes on the debit. Debit, credit. So if you understand this concept tonight, it will be a big win already and a step in the right direction. Now, if we go to the the learning unit itself, in this case, we're talking about books of first entry, and we talk about cash records. Now, cash records do not only refer to physical cash, notes and coins, etc. We're talking about transactions like EFT payments nowadays, and cash also, but I think limited in these days. We talk rather about EFT payments or transfers, direct transfers, etc., etc. So that's any money that's coming into the business or going out if we do payments, and also the same to the trust account, money coming in and going out. Now, as we are referring to lawyer accounts, it is extremely important for you as lawyers of the future, as I would perhaps say, lawyer wannabes, for you to understand that it is extremely important that lawyers should always keep separate accounts for their business bank and for their trust bank. It is compulsory, it is by law. And if you know anybody in this arena, you will know how strict they are, and they always want to know if the trust bank account is in order, because they can be locked up if something goes wrong, because the trust account is there for clients' money. It's not the lawyer's own money. So they are not allowed to touch that money without proper evidence, source entry, source documents. So always when you have a question, or even one day in practice, remember it's by law that you have to be very strict on what's coming in and what's going out of your trust bank account. Your business bank account we use for business transactions, like in any other normal organization. You will get money payments from your clients, the partners or the directors or the owners or whoever may deposit money in there. Your debtors may deposit money, and then we use the money in that bank to pay for salaries or telephone or petrol or stationery or whatever. So your business bank account is your normal business account, like in any other business, same as almost your personal bank account, what's in there and what goes out of that. But your trust bank account, always keep in mind, in alignment with the Law Practitioners Act, it must be a separate account, and it's your clients entrusted that money to you as an attorney, and you're not allowed to use it for anything else than for that client. Now, the cash payments, if we pay anything, like I've said previously, from the normal business expenses, we can have office rent, insurance, telephone, membership fees, salaries and wages, anything that has to do with daily activities. And you can really think there from a practical point of view, what will be the expenses in a legal firm. Salaries, wages, tea, coffee, some entertainment perhaps. There's various things. So from a practical point of view, just think logic and then think how that will be accounted for. Whereas you pay something for your clients, it's important to know that you can use the trust bank account if the client already deposited money into that trust account for you as lawyer or attorney to pay expenses on his behalf. You can't pay an advocate fee for Mr. B if there's no money of Mr. B in that trust account. You can't use Mr. A's money to pay advocate fee for Mr. B. You're not allowed to do that. So if there's money in the bank deposited by Mr. B, you can pay Mr. B's advocate fees from that money. So that's why, as you can see, it's very tricky and very important to keep track of exactly what money you are paying on whose behalf. Now, if we look at the business cash receipts, remember the normal business. In this case, it's a lawyer or an attorney, but it can also apply to any other business. You need to have these headings in your cash receipts journal. Now, how will you remember these? Very, very easy. You learn them off by heart. You need to learn that these needs to be the headings in your cash receipts journal. There's no other way, just learn it. You need to know when the money was coming in, where it was coming from. Was it an EFT? Was it cash received? Was it instant payment or whatever? You need to trace it back, if necessary, to the original point of entry. Why was it coming in? Was it a client that paid for his account, or was it a member or a partner that deposited cash into the account? So you have to have that detail. What reference? So for instance, what is the other entry? The credit side entry. So now if we look at, remember that T account I showed you, that the scale, my business cash receipts journal, let me just go back to that slide. The business cash receipts journal is this side of your bank account. It's all the money that's coming in. So you need to then show there and add as much as possible detail to this transaction so that you're able to trace it back. Now the folio number is this is the debit side. So the folio number is what account are you going to credit? So like explanation, rent earned, you will debit the bank, you will credit rent earned, and the folio is your general ledger account number. We'll get to that next week. Or the debit your bank account and credit your interest received. What account number is that? Sundries, every income that's not related to the normal business of the normal business that you are doing. For instance, rental income or interest received on an investment or a donation or capital. This is not the normal type of income that you have in an attorney's books, whereas your main income in an attorney practice will be your clients paying you. So most of your entries will then fall into this column, which then should equal your amount bank. As I've said previously, learn these headings off by heart. Very important. Remember, if tomorrow something happens to you as a bookkeeper, or if your partnership, in a partnership, the partner comes into your office and asks you, where did this money come from? You don't want to sit there and, let me go and check, I'm not sure. You want to go to your business cash receipts journal and have as much as possible detail on every transaction so that you know where did it come from. Go back to your original source document. Look at the client's name. Who was it for? Where did you post it? What was the credit account? And exactly what amount came in. We use these from 1st of March, 5th of March, 10th of March, etc. So you have an easier way to find a transaction. But the more you have in here, the better for you and the easier way to find any transaction. The same applies to the business cash payments journal. Now, if we go back again to the T account, now we're on this side of the T account. We're doing the outflow of the money that we received. Again, we put as much as possible detail in. How will you remember these? You have to learn them off by heart. The date the transaction took place, 1st of March, 10th of April, whatever, so that you can trace it back to your bank statement when you do the bank recon. Can you see where everything is now falling into place? The EFT number, You made an EFT payment for your telecom account or your Cell C, or you paid for stationery or whatever. If you have an EFT number, the client name that you paid Checkers, or you paid, let's say, rent association for your monthly rental. You paid Mr. De Bruin for his salary, whatever. Your details need to be in there. What is this account now again? It is the debit account number that we will debit. This is cash payments, so it must be a credit entry. The debit, like rent paid, salaries paid, it will be debited. So we put in the cross references so that we can trace this transaction. Where did I put this in my general ledger? Again, your sundries. It's items that's not normal business transactions. That's like once a month, or not even, perhaps once every 3 months. You may have something like a donation. So then it goes under sundries. Again, you have a folio number for that. Where will you debit it to? So you need to have that as well. But your main things will be your client's control, things that you then paid on behalf of your clients. This will go into this column and the same amount into your bank column. Okay, remember, now we talked about business cash receipts and cash payments. Now let's just look at example 4.1, for instance. I just want you to, let's just read through it, and then I'll take you through my thinking of this. The following information relates to the attorney's practice, SA attorneys. The practice is registered as a vet vendor. VAT at 15% is included where applicable. Can I see by raise of hands who can remember how to calculate VAT? To determine the VAT amount in, for instance, advertising. Oh, there's quite a few. Can you remember? Who was that first one? Chantal, can you quickly, who was it? Chantal, can you tell us how we do it? Now, lady, do you want to try? Are you muted, everybody? Where are you?
I would like to give it a try.
Yes, please. Let's work on that 920 Rand. What is the original cost price? What will be the cost and what will be the VAT?
Okay. I think the cost price is going to be 800. And then the VAT is going to be 120.
Exactly. How did you do that? Explain to the others.
I took 920 and divide it by 1.15.
Yes.
Yes, that's
and
how
that
I
gave you. That gave you.
It gave me 800 Rand, and then
okay.
Yes, and then I took 920 and subtract the 800 Rand and get
exactly
120.
20
Yes.
VAT. Perfect. So you remember well from last week. Good. Okay.
So, ma'am, which one is the VAT?
Pardon?
So, ma'am, which one is the VAT? Is VAT the 120?
The VAT is the 120, yes.
Oh, and then the 800 is the original price.
The advertisements or the advertising cost, yes, is the 800 Rand. The output VAT is the output VAT is 120. Now the input VAT, sorry about that. The input VAT is 120, and your total that goes into your bank account is 920.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, right. Let's carry on now with this. On date the 1st, one of the attorneys, Mr. North, deposits 10,000 Rand into the business bank account of SA attorneys as capital. Receipt number 21 is issued. Let's just think about it. What is happening here? Is it money coming in or going out? Let's get thumbs up for money going out. Thumbs down for money coming in. Is it in or out?
It's coming in.
It's
It's coming in. It's okay.
in.
If we look at the T account, on
Coming in.
what side will it be on? If we look on the business bank account.
Debit side.
Debit side.
Debit on the left-hand side, huh? Debit. Debit. Good, good. What account will be credit?
Equity.
Bank account.
The bank account is debit by 10,000. Which account will we credit?
When you carry the capital account.
The capital account. That's correct. That's correct.
Nazo?
Okay. Let's just go through it and I'll show you the solution now. Then we can discuss it further. On the 12th, we paid office rent to East Africa. We did an EFT and that's the amount. Do we have, is it an income or an expense?
Expense.
Expense. So now in which journal will it go? Into the cash receipts journal or the cash payments journal?
Cash
Payments journal.
Yes.
So it will also then go on the credit side of my bank T account. Agree?
Yes.
Yes. And which account will we debit?
Rent.
The rent paid.
Office rent.
Good.
Yes.
Yes, good. Next one, receive payment from A South of 18,240 in cash for services rendered. So that is a client of ours. Is it money coming in or money going out?
Money coming in.
Money coming in, debit or credit the bank account. Is the bank going to increase or decrease?
Debit.
Debit. Good. It's more, so it will be in the cash, payments, or receipts journal. Which one?
Receipt.
Receipt.
Cash
Cash
receipt
receipt.
journal. Correct. Yeah.
Cash
It's money coming in. Good. 7th. Cash is drawn for petty cash, 1,600 Rand. Is that money coming in or money going out?
Out.
Out.
Money
So
coming
bank account, debit or credit?
Credit.
Credit bank
Credit.
account.
So is it cash payments or cash receipts journal?
Payment.
Cash payment.
Cash payments journal. Good, you're doing well. Number on the 9th, we pay advertisements of 920. Is it coming in or going out?
Out.
Out.
Out. What
Out.
side of the bank account?
Credit.
Credit.
Credit. Good.
Credit.
And which journal are we using?
Payment.
Cash payment.
Yes, cash payments journal. On the 12th, we paid 1,150 Rand for membership fees to the legal counsel. Is it money coming in or going out?
Out.
Out.
Bank account?
Credit.
Credit. Which account are we going to debit?
Cash payment.
Payment.
Cash payment.
Cash payments. Okay. And which general ledger account? What side? The debit side one. Which account will that be?
CPJ.
Payment journal.
Cash payment journal.
What is the expense? What did we buy?
Membership fee.
Membership fee. So that is our it's an expense, membership fees. Okay, it's not the Legal Practice Council because we paid for membership fees. That is our expense. All right, then number 14, we issue receipt. Number 23, to see Natal in settlement of his account. Money coming in or going out?
In.
Money going out.
Yeah, so see Natal paid us. He settled his account. Money coming in. That's correct. What side of the bank?
Debit.
Debit. Is it cash payments or cash receipts?
Cash
paid
receipts.
with
Yes. And what account will be credited?
See Natal.
Natal or a debtor control account. Okay, remember he's a debtor, he owed us money. So we will do the debtor control account. But we'll have a look at that next week in more detail. Then number 19, we pay short-term insurance for a period of 6,900. Debit or credit bank?
Credit.
Credit. We pay something. Yes. So it's credit bank account. And is it cash payments or cash receipts journal?
Payment
journal.
Payment journal. And which account will we debit? Insurance. Good. Yeah. Does it make sense to you all?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes,
ma'am.
Is it that difficult? Is it that difficult?
No, not bad, ma'am. It's not
It's actually
bad.
very nice. No?
Only the banking
Okay.
calculations.
On the 24th, we will do the same. We pay. So always look for words like pay, receipt, pay, cash is drawn. Can you see the words that we use for, is it coming out or going out, coming in or going out?
Yes.
Pay, office rent, receive a payment, deposits. There will always be a word in there that will guide you whether it's an expense or an income. So if we pay these expenses, water and electricity, telephone, salaries, they are all credit in the bank. The bank is getting less because of these, and we will debit water and electricity, telephone, and salaries. Happy?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's just quickly have a look. I think you all had it 100% correct. There's your money coming into the business, your money going out. Remember, we said this is the big T account. So this is the debit side of my T account. This is the credit side of the T account. So just keep that in mind. Always remember that scale that you have to remember. All these details you will find in the question. Sundries, because it's capital, is not the normal client business of the attorneys. So we will use the sundries column, which equals the bank column. And the account that we will credit will be capital. And once you have a ledger account number there, it might be general ledger 100. You will write it in there. Okay, if South paid his account or settled his account, C Natal settled or paid his account, it's your debtors paying. So you will debit your client's control and you will credit debtors control. Okay, you will see if you look at this, remember the VAT, what is applicable on sales. That is part when you invoice it, you will add the VAT already on that amount. So that settlement of the account is just the balance of his account that is paying. There's no VAT applicable because we already charged VAT when we invoiced South and Natal. Then the business cash payments. Remember, this is on the credit side of the bank account. You've got the dates, you've got your documents where you can trace it back towards. I assume this will be like EFT payments or whatever. Your details, what did you pay? You can even say office rent to rental properties. You can say advertisements, Sunday Times, legal practice council membership fees, because the more you have not the more, but the reference can help you to find the source document should you need to go and trace it for a partner or a director or whoever. It's obviously that water and electricity will be your city council account, so you won't need to write in the city of Tshwane or whatever. It's logic. That'll be that. The telephone will be Telkom or Cell C or whatever. Your salaries will be a person. You can even add the name there to have more details so that you can trace the transaction back. But these need to include the account that you will debit, because payments is credit in the bank. These accounts will be debited. Your amounts, the VAT applicable, if you need to take it out, remember how we calculated that. And on this side, you will have the total. Now, these must balance. Always keep that in mind, that 10 plus 19,209 must equal 29,209. Otherwise, your trial balance won't balance. The same here, if you add these columns up, or actually in this case, you need to add them down, but we say we add them up. This plus this must equal that. Otherwise, the trial balance won't balance. And when you do a question in an assignment or in an exam, just add these. Just make sure that everything is working and that you can cross these amounts. Now, the trust cash receipts. Remember, separate bank accounts for the business and the trust. So for the trust, you need also to learn these headings off by heart. Date, when was the money coming in? What reference do you have? This will most probably be a receipt number, because you'll make out a receipt for the client to say you paid your account. The details of that client, Mr. A, Mr. B, whatever. The account that you will credit most probably will be his account, client number account. So Mr. Botha might be B1. Mr. Sillier might be C1. So this is just to trace it. Where did you put the credit side of this entry? The sundries, if it's not for a client, so like capital received from the partners or whatever, or a donation or whatever you put in here, sometimes we can, you won't have that. Yeah, basically this will be for clients. Your donations won't go into your trust account. I also said like an insurance claim, but that will also not form part of a trust account. That will form part of a business account. So you basically will have only your money coming in from your debtors, from your clients. And then the amount bank. Remember, the more details you have in here, the easier it will be for you to trace that double transaction on the other side, on the credit side. The same with the payments journal. The more detail, important, learn these headings. Just learn them off by heart. The date of the transaction, the EFT number that you use to pay something, for whom did you pay what, name of the creditor. For instance, you paid a sheriff's cost. You can put it in here, the details. Which account will you debit? Put the folio number in there. If it's not for a client, then what something else that you bought that is not a normal transaction or daily transaction goes under your sundries column. Your trust creditors account, the amount that you need to debit in this case, where will it go, which client, and transfer to bank account. This is when you transfer money from the trust to the bank account. You're not allowed to do it except if there's a transaction that's complete. It might be that the client, the debtor is in settling his account, it's the end of a transaction, everything is sorted out, then you can transfer money to your business bank account and the exact amount that you did transfer. Now, for me, it's important that you understand, once again, the basics of this, and always keep this in mind. I think you did very well tonight to understand this. The scale, it must always be level. So keep this in mind with all these transactions. Tonight we did the business bank account, cash receipts journal, or trust receipts journal. We did them both. It goes on in this side of your bank. Your bank is getting more. On this side, you have the cash payments journal for the trust and for the business. If you have something on the debit side, you will have a cross-reference or a folio number to the credit account. Is it telephone, insurance, or is it just a debtor? On the credit side, you have payments for telephone, and it goes on this side. Telephone, rent, salaries, etc. It's always important to indicate to the viewer of the bank account. And nowadays, everything is done on computer, but that doesn't matter. You need to be able to trace this transaction back. Where did you get the money from? What did you pay? And what other account did you either debit or credit? But next week, I will focus on the actual ledger accounts. Okay, let's now start with the questions. I hope it's somewhat clearer to you tonight after this. I think once you do the ledger accounts also, you'll get a bigger picture of how we are going to get to the trial balance. Remember, we are there now. We did this tonight. Next week, we'll do the ledger accounts. And from the ledger, we draw a trial balance and we get financial statements. We're still busy with our accounting cycle, but I think everything should become clear to you as we progress through this week and next week. All right, let's start with questions. Let me just get the names. Mahashula. Go ahead. Just unmute yourself. Is everybody not unmuted? Let me just see in the chat. Who can go next? Let me just see who's available. Is it Lebogang? Can you talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, who's this now?
This is Khumulumalo Khwabe.
Okay, go ahead.
I heard you said my name. I have no questions.
Was your hand not raised?
No.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not you. Who can ask questions? Komotso, can you hear me? Can you ask question?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
My question is based on business cash receipt journal.
Yeah.
Why don't we add VAT?
We can add VAT,
Yes.
but most of the time, your income will already have the VAT in there because, let's say, you buy, let's just take a straightforward business. Say you buy stationery from me, and that's my business. I sell stationery on a daily basis. I will charge you 15 Rand on a book that costs 100 Rand. So you will have to pay me 150 Rand. But the 50 Rand will already show on the invoice that I give you. So when you pay me the money, you pay the 115 Rand, but I will account for the VAT from the invoice that I issued you previously. Otherwise, you will do it twice. Otherwise, you will pay VAT or you account for that twice. So your cash
Meaning the ad
receipts
is
journal,
sorry,
just say
ma'am.
again. You know, go
Meaning
ahead.
the VAT is already added.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It
I'm
was
answered.
added
Thank you
when
so
you
much.
did the sale. This is now just the money coming in on that sale. So you don't
Okay.
want to show that again in the cash or cash receipts journal or in the bank account. Otherwise, you're duplicating.
Okay, I'm answered, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Is there anybody else? I don't know, mute. It's not, everybody's not mute. Who wants to go
Yes,
next?
ma'am. Can I go?
Yes, you can go.
I just want to find out, ma'am, but now that you put this slide back on, I think I'm almost answered, but I'm not sure. I just want to understand the difference between the sundries account and the client control.
Sundries is for anything that is not in your normal business. For instance, we are busy with attorneys' accounts. So your clients will be money that you receive from your debtors, your clients. Whereas this will be like, for instance, a rental income that you receive. Or, as I said previously, a donation that you receive or insurance claim. So this you use for transactions that's not normal in your business, not on a daily basis.
Okay, if you can just go to the slide where you showed the cash payments journal and cash, yes, this one. So for number one, so 4 and 14, because that's your normal business. That's why it's not
Yes.
in the sundries account.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then everything in the cash payments journal is in the sundries account.
Yes, because these are separate items. They will go to separate separate ledger accounts. It will go to rent, it will go to petty cash, it will go to advertisements, it will go to membership fees, it will go to insurance. So there's no one specific column for rent or advertisements or legal costs or insurance. Can you see all the headings?
Yes.
It's not practical.
So in this case, you need to record it in the sundry account.
Sundries, yes.
Even though it's got their own separate headings under details or all separate way it's going. Whereas in the receipts journal, you have to record it either in the client control because that's your normal business or the sundries account.
Yes, you will have many of these in a month received money that you receive from your client.
Okay.
So you will have plenty of transactions here, and then you can just add them there as one and do the credit side for one amount. Whereas these ones, everything goes to a different account. It's not practical to open all these at the top. So we use sundries to split them into the various areas where we'll need to take them to the debit side.
This exercise that we did, the cash receipts journal and the payments journal, this is on the business side. Can it also be done on the trust account?
Yeah,
No?
it will look exactly the same. It will look, remember I gave you, just learn those headings, but the concept stays the same. Whereas with the yeah, you will also have the same headings, more or less. It's difficult to explain and say this is exactly how it will work, because in a trust account, you might have a lot of sheriff's fees. You can have then one column for sheriff's fees. But remember, if you pay for something for a sheriff, it needs to go to that client's account, because that money is then deducted from the deposit the client made. So that's why it works a bit different if you have the trust accounts. Let me just get there. You will have to say what you paid and where does it go, to which client does it go, because it might be sheriff, it may be telephone, advocate, whatever. This will go in here, but it will all have to go to a client of yours account, because it's not your expense. You're paying it on behalf of that client.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Who's that? Mahashula? Can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself? I don't know if that's an old hand or a new hand. Kuleka?
It's an old hand, ma'am.
I think it's an old hand, yes. Kuleka, can you, yes, go ahead and ask.
Hi, ma'am. So, ma'am, when I was checking on the business cash journal, firstly, the headings that you said we must learn, the date, the number, and all. So now, when I'm checking on the answers to the questions, there's output VAT there, whereas it's not there on the headings you said we must learn. Are we supposed to put the output VAT in the cash receipt journal?
In here. Yes, you can. I'm not 100% sure if the question will tell you what headings to have. You perhaps will know better, or even the e-tutors can assist me there, if it will tell you which headings to use. You can open a column for output VAT, and as you can see in this case, there's nothing in there. Just for in case that you want to make use of it. Like this side, you have a column for the input VAT, so you can have extra columns. There's no fixed rules, but you need to have one for the client, one for the bank, and one for the sundries. Those are your main ones that you will use most often in your questions.
Oh, okay, ma'am. And then on the output VAT, there's one there. What do they exactly mean, the ones?
These ones?
Yes.
If you look at the question, it tells you there that this is what I explained for you. Already charged the VAT when you invoiced Mr. South and Mr. Natal. You already charged the VAT in there. So you can't take out the VAT again, otherwise you're duplicating it. He's just paying his account. He's settling his account. So everything that he paid now must go to his account. The VAT is already on that account.
Okay, so I must just put a 1 there for the output.
Or you can just leave it open. You can just leave it open. There shouldn't be any VAT on a transaction where a debtor pays his account.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm very clear now. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Lebogang, is that also an old hand, I assume? Kuleka, we sorted you out. You happy?
Yes, ma'am. I'm very happy. Thank you.
Okay, the next one, Shabangu.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I have two questions here.
Mm.
So my first question would go straight to our instructions, where it says the practice is registered as VAT vendor. VAT and 15% is included where applicable.
Yes.
So I would like to know what does that mean?
It means that your expenses and your income needs to account for VAT, because he's the SA attorneys is a VAT vendor. So if you have, for instance, like a rental expense, you are allowed to take out the 300 Rand VAT included in the amount you paid, and you can claim that from SARS as an input VAT. So the question then indicates to you that in this question specifically, you are allowed, or you must also show your input VAT separately and your output VAT, should there be anything up there, and you need to pay this over to SARS as a liability. Whereas some questions will tell you he's not registered for VAT, then you won't have this column in your solution. Does that make sense or not yet?
Yes, it does.
I think you must also perhaps go and listen to last week's presentation where we explained. I don't know if you did attend last week, but perhaps then just go and re-listen or re-look at last week's video and see if you can refresh your memory on how VAT is calculated and where you add it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
My second question goes to cash payment journal. Or the transaction or the comparison or to the transactions. The transaction number 7 and transaction number 7 goes with the transaction number 24 under the salaries.
Yes.
So I would like to know why the VAT is not added there.
Because you don't pay VAT on salaries. There's never VAT on salaries. And your petty cash is just you top up your petty cash. So that's just a cash drawing from your payments journal so that you can top up that little small petty cash that they keep in the drawer for you if you want to go and buy milk and sugar and all of that. So that's just a cash transaction. It's not that you pay something like an expense. And salaries is not a VATable expense. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thanks. Bantele?
Good evening, everyone. So I wanted to ask regarding the question where we calculate the cost price and the input VAT using 920. So the lady said to calculate the VAT input, she used the 920 and subtracted it by 800. So I wanted to know if it's okay if I use the 920 multiplied by 15 and divided by 115. Okay.
That's, yeah, you also get 120. That's correct, yes. Is that what you get?
I got 120. The
Yeah.
same answer.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Naledi?
Good evening, ma'am. Someone in the chat had actually asked about bringing paper to work out and everything. So I just wanted to know, are we guaranteed that we're not going to get flagged during the proctoring app whenever the test is proctored?
I'm not familiar with the proctoring tools. I'm sorry about that. I think the safest will be if you ask either your e-tutor or you send an email to the FAC1503 mailbox and just make sure about it. I don't know if Antoinette is still in the meeting, but if not, just send us an email and then we can respond to that. I don't want to give you an answer and perhaps mislead you.
Hi, Annelien. Yes, I'm still here. I
Yes.
actually put a thumbs up. Sorry, I thought that would answer your question. No, you won't be flagged if you look down, like for example, you have to use your calculator, of course, and if you want to make notes or, for example, do a T account, like Prof. Annelien showed you guys. So no, you won't be flagged when you do that.
Okay,
Have
thank
I
you so much,
answered your
ma'am.
question?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Okay. If there's any others, please send it to the FIC 1503 at unisa.ac.za mailbox.
Thank you, Antoinette. Komotso?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, really quickly, for the cash payments journal, do we add a client's control column or not? And if so, what do we add in it?
You will only have a client's control column if you do the trust account, the trust cash payments journal, because your business journal, business cash payments journal won't have a client's column. You will have normal expenses in there. Whereas with your trust money, you pay things on behalf of your client. So then you will have a column for that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Antoinette, you must jump in if I'm confusing the students. I'm fairly new to this module, so please jump in and tell me if I don't answer correctly.
No problem. No, you are doing well.
Thank you. Yeah, I passed these modules many years ago. Some of you weren't even born when I passed these modules. So that was long before VAT, for instance. We never had VAT at those days. No other questions tonight, students? Are you all tired? You had a long weekend, busy weekend?
Sorry,
If
ma'am.
there's no other questions, then we can say good night. Keep well. Remember to study every night. Do your assignments. Work hard. One day you'll look back and say it wasn't that bad. So just keep going. We've
Hello,
got
hello,
some
ma'am.
more there. Sambu.
Hello,
Hi,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's Sambu first. Yes, Sambu.
Hi, ma'am. I just wanted to ask about the previous recordings, where to find them, because I was looking under my announcement.
Antoinette, help, please.
Yes, I actually just posted a message saying that if you go to your announcements, just read carefully. It will say recording to the class held on for example, today, the 7th. This recording specifically, the recordings that's held by your e-tutors and by Prof. Annelien and previously by me and Miss Dry, those are actually on a YouTube channel. which you will also find a link to in one of the announcements. And further on, the other recordings, which is specifically held by Ms. Aziza Fortuin, is also on a YouTube channel by the Western Cape Regional Office, which is also posted in one of the announcements, I think in quite a few. And then unfortunately, the Gauteng Regional Office and Eastern Cape, you have to please contact them or email them, the regional office, please, and ask them for access to the recordings if you attend one of those classes. I will upload not a register, so apologies, a schedule for you guys tomorrow that will give the whole week's classes between the Eastern Cape, Gauteng, Western Cape, and okay, Prof. Annelien's was tonight. That will help you guys. But please just check your announcements. I know there's many. Apologies for that, yeah. But I hope I've answered your question. Otherwise, please send me an email. I will gladly post the link for you. Let me see if you give me a second. I will quickly see if I can get the link of these classes. Just remember, it takes a day or two for the person who I sent this recording to upload it for us. Apologies for that. Okay, please just give me a second or two. Let me get quickly the link to these recordings.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, so mine was similar to the lecture speaker about the recordings and whatnot. And I also wanted to know if it's possible, because to my side, I'm left behind with learning unit 1 and 2. I'm a bit lost. So it's fine. I'll go back to the recording. So I also wanted to ask if it's possible for us to have the revision classes before we go into assessment number 3, if it's possible. If not, then we'll stick to the recordings and revise with those recordings.
Antoinette?
Sir, I think Ms. Fortuin is having a revision and all the other regional offices, but I think just wait for the schedule that I will be posting for the week. I think there is a revision class in between before the trust accounting starts from learning unit 6 to 8, which is just about trust accounting. So I'm almost certain there is a revision class there. That's going to be held, apologies, by specifically the Western Cape. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. It's going to be a revision from learning unit 1 up to, I think, assessment number 3 is going to cover learning unit 1 to 3, right? So
5. Learning unit
up
1
to
to 5. And that's the revision she's going to do. I just can't remember the exact date. Just keep on looking at the schedule that I will post on a Friday or afternoon or a Monday morning for the week's classes. We only got the links, unfortunately, now. That's why we haven't posted it yet. Please take note the link that I just posted in the chat. This is the link where we have uploaded so far the recordings we have done from our side. And then you guys are lucky. I got also the Western Cape's classes, their YouTube channel link, which I will also post. Oh my gosh, could you guys hear me? My microphone was away. Apologies.
How could you, Antoinette?
Oh, thank you, Annelien. Okay, the second one, as you can see, there's a WC just after FAC 1503, so that you don't get confused. That's Western Cape. So long you guys can look at these recordings. It will help you a lot, especially if you are lost. Ms. Dry also had very good classes that you can watch. And yes, and Prof. Annelien's previous class, which will help you also a lot, because that was regarding VAT and bank reconciliation. I saw a few people was still a bit lost about that. So please go and, yes, listen again to her recording. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, students. We'll chat again sometime soon. Just look at the schedule, see we'll put online, and then we'll see when we will talk to each other again. Enjoy your studies and have a great week. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Hi everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.